Hey guys, welcome to this video and my channel. My name is Heather. I'm the owner and creator here at Wicked Whiskey Designs, and it's finally here. I promised you this cup 6 months ago. This is the final cup in the Cursed Sea series. This is for my husband, which is probably why I had to restart it 3 times. But I'm so happy with how this came out. There's a lot that went into this cup, but I promise nothing that's all too complicated that not anybody and everybody can do it. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make this cup. All of the products that I used, I have linked down below. I'm also an affiliate for some products, so there's probably some coupon codes down there as well for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I've been gone, I've been away for like 6 months. I'm sorry, I suck. I'm back. A ton of new ideas, some crazy ideas coming up. So definitely like and subscribe so that you're notified when those new videos drop. I'm going to try to get back into a schedule of doing this every Saturday, if not maybe twice a week, she says optimistically. So definitely like and subscribe so that you get notified whenever those videos drop. And I think that's pretty much it. Don't forget to hang out to the end of the video where I have a tips and tricks section on, you know, little things that I learned along the way with making this cup to make this cup a little easier for you. It's also known as the rambling section because that's what happens, but whatever. Welcome to my channel. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and get started, show you everything you need to make this cup. Can we just take a moment to look at how pretty that is? Ah, it came out so pretty. Here we go. Let's go do this. Okay guys, so we're going to start with a blue base tumbler. I'm going to do, this is obviously upside down, so pretend we're talking like this. This is the bottom. Let me get you in frame. This is the bottom. This is the top. I want this to be a darker blue going into like a medium into a light. The colors that we've picked for the base don't go all the way down to navy. They go kind of, I think the bottom color is Ravenclaw, which is so freaking pretty. But I don't want to do like super, super dark paint here. I want it to be darker, but not super dark. So I'm not going as far as a navy spray paint. I'm going to go somewhere like a dark medium to a light. The top is more of like a minty color, and I want to be able to, I want all those glitter colors to show, you know, the way they should be. I also don't want to do this on white because I want the extra help from the spray paint. So I'm going to pick 2 or 3 colors, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start with, we've got Ravenclaw. We've got Saltwater, which is the prettiest freaking dark color. We've got Weekend at Bernie's. We've got Mint Condition. Oops, helps to see the color. Super pretty sagey green. We've got Indigo, which he doesn't know we're adding that, but surprise! So we're going to add that in there. We've got Cauldron by Childs and Childs. It's a really pretty deep, dark purple, not like a bright, obnoxious purple that I love, but a deep, dark purple. It's absolutely gorgeous, like an eggplant. We've got Aquamarine, also by Peachy. And we've got, I think I've got Turks. Again, he doesn't know we're adding that. Surprise number 2. We're going to go ahead and get the cup on the spinner. You'll see that obviously most of these are teals. The colors we chose as a base was blue. They're going to play off each other very nicely, I think. So we're going to go ahead, get everything set up. We're going to go ahead and start adding the colors. All right, great. Bye. I am so sorry about the lighting. I know this sucks. I also know it's loud in here. I'm in Florida, and that means that we are not really used to having moderate weather. We're used to it being basically the pits of hell, and so when it gets to 62 degrees, my epoxy doesn't cure. So right now I'm hotboxing my garage so that my epoxy can cure, and we are going to kind of wing it until then. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to hit our little cup here with spray adhesive. Now I know that there are people so much better at this than I am who can sit there and do this epoxy method and it comes out beautiful, and that's not me. I know my limitations. That's not me. So I am always a big fan of spray adhesive. Normally I use whatever brand I'm able to get at the time, you know, based on, you know, supply and demand. Right now I've got Loctite. I'm just going to do a real quick little zhuzh all over here with the spray adhesive, and then we're going to start putting their glitter on. Okay? Okay, so now comes the fun part. Let's get glittering. I started with salt water on the bottom and then transitioned that into Ravenclaw, into aquamarine, into Weekend at Bernie's, and then finally the mint color. Obviously, this is going to need multiple runs of glitter, so that first layer that you're putting down is going to look like trash. Go ahead, and once you get a full run of glitter on your cup, take it back out, do another run of spray adhesive, come back in, do a second coat with your glitter. Now it's going to start looking a little more like it should. Once you, again, get a full transition on the cup, take it back out, another run of spray adhesive, and then bring in the extra colors. You know, I wanted a little bit of that dark purple at the bottom, but I wanted it to go over the saltwater dark teal so that it really had a nice transition between the two. So on that third pass of glitter is when you're going to add that. You're going to add some of that cauldron purple color on the bottom. You have the indigo. I just sprinkled just a little bit, kind of like it did like a little sprinkling almost over the whole bottom half, but again, really light. I'm not trying to make its presence really known. I just kind of want it there as a little bit of an accent color. And I did the same thing with the Turks. The Turks is a really bright, vibrant teal. I literally just wanted, think of it as like, you know, sprinkling salt on your mashed potatoes. Once you are happy with how your glitter looks, go ahead and hit it with some spray sealer, and we're going to move it over to its first run of epoxy. Okay, so as you see, I have a big old cup of epoxy here. We are going to put a super thin coat of epoxy on this cup. I also have gloves that don't fit, so yay. Ugh. First day back at work after vacation. Always happens. As I was saying, we're going to put a micro thin coat of epoxy on here. We are then going to let that cure, and then we're going to go ahead and do another micro thin coat of epoxy so that it's mostly covered. It doesn't need to be perfect. There's multiple steps to this cup. So it's, your ombre doesn't have to necessarily be perfect. You're not trying to get like super final coats of epoxy on this at this point. There's going to be layering upon layering upon layering. So we just want to lock all the glitter in, and then we'll move on to all the fun stuff. When it comes to ombres like this, I have a tendency to epoxy sideways. I'm not trying to do this right now because no matter how much you have that epoxy locked down with sealer, you're still running the risk of bringing all your dark up to your light all jacked up. And that's just not the look I'm trying to go for right now. So I'm just going to kind of go work my way down the cup sideways so that all of the glitter stays in the family it's meant to stay in. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to get covered with, you know, multiple layers and such. But I'm not trying to like get all my purple up in the, you know, the mint and all that. I want there to be some semblance of how it's supposed to look. Okay guys, so I did end up doing a second coat of epoxy on this last night. I just kind of wanted to make it as smooth as possible for the next step. What are we going to do now? We are going, and by the way, isn't that pretty? Look at all that. What are we going to do now? Keeping in line with the other two Cursed Mermaid tumblers, I still want that same kind of vibe, but I want it a little bit darker, a little gnarlier. It's for my husband. He will not let me touch chunky glitter, so we have to get our effects in where we can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to do different layers of power wash. I don't want anything really bright. I don't want anything really dark. It's a dark cup at the bottom. I want to use just a tiny little bit of black, but some dark gray. And then at some point, I'm going to add another little light misting of Power Wash. And I bought this very cool, like a purple blue color shift paint. So we'll see if that works. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and add a couple of Mermaid scales down before I do that first layer of Power Wash, because if you remember from the very first Mermaid cup we did, that looks so cool. So I'm going to try to duplicate that again. I am being lazy, because, you know, this is like my second day back to work. I am being lazy. I have leftover scales from another project. Normally, cut this out in, you know, in 651 or 681. Crap. Lost my number. Removable vinyl. This is not. This, I'm not going to put it down very, very strong. It's just literally to spray paint over it. But yeah, be better than me and use removable vinyl. So we're going to go ahead and get that going. Okay, so this step didn't necessarily work for me because I was using really small, tiny micro mermaid scales, but be better than me. Grab your 631 removable vinyl, cut out normal size mermaid scales and apply them just randomly around the cup. You're not looking to have a lot. You just want enough to where when you put your Power Wash on top of it, it's going to go ahead and leave that scale in the negative space. All right, so what are we doing? I've got gloss black and I have granite, okay? And what I'm going to do is add the Power Wash to my tumbler. I'm going to go ahead and then spray with both of these on this particular layer, rinse it off, and we'll see how it turns out. Woohoo! Okay, so as you can see, it's not very much, and I didn't want very much. So it's just a tiny little bit here and there. You know, I don't think my bright idea of having the mermaid scales and have it pull up in the negative space, I don't think that's going to work, and that's fine. I don't really care about that, but I thought I'd give it a shot. As you can see, it's just a tiny little bit of gray and black, and that's exactly what I wanted, because like I said, there's going to be more layers, there's going to be decals, there's going to be vinyl, and there's going to be more Power Wash down the line. So this is actually pretty perfect. So, okay, we're going to go ahead, peel up these little mermaid scales, because like I said, I'm pretty sure they didn't do anything functional, and we're going to go ahead and send it to epoxy. Okay, so we're going to talk a minute about the designs. This quite honestly was probably the whole reason why this cup took me 6 months to do, because I honestly had no idea what I was going to do with this. These are the designs that my husband likes. So what's the problem? The problem is this. There are 100 different ways to work these designs. As you can see, they're all mostly have like some kind of a zhuzh in the back. There's backgrounds, there's crap everywhere. There's, you know, you got little offshoots and things hanging and drool and all this kind of stuff like that. So my problem has been this. Number one, there is a ton of different ways to apply this to cups. You've got water slide, clear water slide. You've got water slide with the white backing. You've got clear water slide inverted and then spraying paint the back a different color. You've got clear water slide with a white vinyl backing. You've got printable vinyl, etc., etc., etc. If this was just like a normal, picture of a dog, whatever, you can literally outline it, trace it, you know, cut it, be done with it. But because it has all these elements here, this is what's been jamming me up, because I'm like, okay, well, if I do a regular water slide, let me stop here. I'm in my office. It's like we're about to have some kind of a tornado outside. There's winds and all this noise. If we get through this video without my dogs barking, it's going to be a miracle. Like, I feel like we have a better chance of seeing God than having that happen. But so if there's barking, that's why. But I digress. So my thing has been, you know, you got all this extra stuff. You can't cut this on a, this is never going to cut as far as a design space. Your options, if you're doing this as a clear water slide, it's a dark cup, they're not going to show. If you do this on white water slide paper, all these little things, you know, all these tiny little spaces, they're going to show white, and we don't want that. If you do this again with vinyl, same problem. If you do this with a spray paint backer, you know, how are you really cutting around all this? to where it doesn't look janky and it doesn't look like a, you know, a kindergartner project. And then you get the whole thing, you know, water slide versus printable vinyl. One looks more stickerish to me. One looks, for lack of a better term, softer to me. But still, we have all of these negative spaces. You know, you can sit there and run this through on printable vinyl. Your design space, or I should say your cutter, is never going to get in there. Or if it is, it's gonna be obvious. There's going to be one little section that's going to have white. There's going to have something that's going to cut into the fish, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be way too messy and sloppy. And that's honestly probably, like I said, why I haven't finished this cup, because this part was like stressing me out, trying to figure this part out. I did find, and this is a huge thing here. Hold on. Let me get out of here. Oh, I can get out of there. Okay, hold on. All right, so if you're not familiar, let me drag this over here. Okay, so if you're familiar or if you're not, there are programs that you can use to remove backgrounds. So I thought I would give this a try. I've tried this before with other images. Sometimes it works for a while, sometimes it doesn't. But I thought, you know what, we'll see if we can kind of clean these up a bit. And this is Adobe's background remover program. There's hundreds of them out there. You can choose anything that works well for you. I have this one simply because I run a food blog and I use Photoshop to edit my photos, and so I'm in the same family here. So I thought I'd give it a shot. All you simply do is upload your picture. And look at that. We have a shark with no background. So, and then you just simply download that, and it downloads as a PNG. And you go ahead and bring that into your design space, which I may or may not have already done, because I did all these already. Oops, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. What did I do with it? There. All right, here's an example. So I went through and I did all of them, and yeah, it takes that background out beautifully. So that made me happy. That way you're not trying to fight different design elements. It gives you a little more freedom. You know, if you're doing a cup and you want all that in the background, obviously you don't have to remove it. But for our intents and purposes, this, I think, helps things a bit. So I pulled all of the images that Mike wanted into that, removed all of the backgrounds, and I feel like now I've got a little bit more of a cleaner space to work with. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit, figure out which way we're going to go, and then we're going to move forward. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment. I went ahead and spray painted my cup half gray, half white. I've got clear water slides. I've got white backed water slides. Everything's probably still tacky because I'm rushing this process, but whatever. So I'm just going to like put one of each everywhere and see what I like best, because I'm not used to having to make this decision, I'll be honest. Usually I know I'm putting it somehow on a white background, but I don't know if that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're just going to try it. And this very well may not be part of what we normally do in a tutorial, but you know what? You've hung out with me for 6 months waiting for this cup. I figure we're going to walk through the valley together on this all the way. So I'm going to go ahead and start popping my water slides on here, and we'll see exactly what we like best. So I forgive how bad this looks. Let's say that. I can say right now I don't need to even do the white backgrounds. I started adding it and it's just horrible. So now I will say I completely jacked this one up, as you can see. White is the best. Yeah, this is a mess. Like, you know, let's not judge me on that. But you can see the colors, you can see all the details, and even if he wasn't all wrinkled, you can see it's much darker and much harder to see all of the particulars. These really awesome colors just don't come out on the gray. You know what I mean? So white is the answer. Okay, white, clear and white is the answer. I'm going to go ahead and map out where our decals are going to go on our actual cup. And then we're going to do a very light burst of white spray paint in those areas. We're going to apply the water slides, and then we're going to go through and do exactly what we did on the other mermaid tumblers and use alcohol ink to swirl those all in. So that's our next step. I apologize, my camera cut out on the last step. You're going to take your water slides, which you've obviously already printed and spray sealed and let dry and then cut out into the shapes that you want. You're going to lay them against your cup, see where you want them placed, and then, you know, pull that away, that template away. Do a light little spray of white spray paint and do that for all of your decals. Once your spray paint dries, you're going to go ahead and now start laying those water slides down against them again. Keep in mind, your backer is still on your water slides. You haven't removed them from your backing yet, but you're going to take a little bit of acetone and on a paper towel, just kind of wipe off some of the negative space with the white. You don't want your entire cup to be white spray paint. You want just enough to have it as a background for your water slide. Once you do that and you're happy with that, go ahead and send it to a small run of epoxy. Once your epoxy is cured, grab your water slides, and now you're going to go ahead, run them under your warm water, take your backing off, and you're going to start laying those water slides against the white patterns that you've applied to your cup. If you run into where something's not matching up and you need a little bit of help, a little bit of extra white, grab a white paint pen, add a little bit of extra white to the areas that you may need them to. You can see I had to do that with my my octopus, and you know, just kind of line them up as best as you can. You want to grab a wet paper towel, smooth them all out, and once you're happy with everything, you're going to send them to another micro run of epoxy. Alrighty, guys, let's see what we got going on now. So our cup has been epoxied. Okay, now we're going to go back in with some alcohol ink, get rid of all these little white spots. You know, as I was working on this, part of me was like, you know what, you could have just like spray painted the back in white, and you could have avoided, you know, some of all this drama. And I was like, you know what, really not though. I kind of want that lighter, those lighter areas, because it's going to change the color and pick up and lighten and brighten some of this alcohol ink. So as much as I started second guessing myself, this is the better way for me to go with this. So even though I kind of questioned myself as I was doing it, I think in the end I made the right choice on that. So what are we going to do now? As you can see, I've literally been in contact with my alcohol inks for 2 seconds and I already have crap all over me. But we already know that's how we do things. I have a handful of colors here we're going to kind of play with. I've got Stonewashed. I've got Turquoise. Let's see here. Purple Twilight. Eggplant. And Moss. I don't know that we're going to use all these, but I feel like it's a good place to start. Before anyone asks, yes, I literally just cap these and throw them all into a box. That's my elaborate organization we have going on here, which is why they're all a mess and why I literally get covered every single time. So one of these days I'll fix that, but whatever. I also have Stream, which is a delightfully dark green. We might throw some of that in the mix. These don't work, so we'll put those back over here. And so let's go ahead and get started and see where we come up with. Now, we obviously want to do more purpley down here, more purples and darker blues down here, and then maybe as we go up, get a little bit lighter is the idea. Okay, so I think we're just going to kind of jump in. What I normally do is I've got a little squirt bottle of alcohol, just pure alcohol, 91, 93. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of squirt a little bit so it's in the, you know, the area that we're working with. And then I'm going to apply the alcohol into my little spongy sponge here. I'm also going to probably squirt that a little bit with the alcohol so that it's wet. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start dabbing. We're going to start blending some colors. So because that alcohol is what makes everything all dreamy. Where are we going to start? I think we're going to start with eggplant. I want to see what we're going to... No, I have no rhyme or reason of what we're doing here. We're just going to go ahead and kind of start playing around a little bit. And that is dark. So we're going to kind of dab a little bit of that off. I'm also going to add just a touch of this, whatever this is. What is this? Purple Twilight. Because I like the... I want to see if I can brighten that up just a little bit. Because I don't really want it like crazy dark. Ah, get off. I'm not trying to kill that fish to where you can't see him. So I kind of got a little purple action going on here. Who's that? That's a shark. Okay. I really want that bottom part to be dark. And I really like the purple. Now be mindful of your decals. You don't want to get all crazy with the alcohol ink, and the next thing you know, you've covered up all the good stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is add a little turquoise. I'm going to spray it a little bit. A little dab will do ya. And you remember this stuff from the other videos. It's just, it's a work in progress. You gotta have to go and just kind of play with it as you go. Lighten it, bop it, technical term there. You know, blend it to the best of your ability. You know, you're not covering up that glitter. You're good with that. But yeah, just kind of mush it around until you get to a place where you're happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to save you all the time and trouble of watching this whole process. This took me, you know, quite some time to do. If you have any questions on this part, definitely feel free to reach out. I know it's not necessarily easy to see what colors I'm using. It's sped up and such. But basically what I did is I just kind of started playing. I was mix matching, you know, this color and that color. I'd put some purple on the sponge, then I'd put some teal, or excuse me, turquoise, and I'd dab it. Definitely keep using your alcohol and spraying that on the cup and on the sponge, and just basically blot everything until you're happy with it. There's no, oh, this is where you use this color, and don't be, you know, don't use anything but that color here. No, just go follow your instincts, follow your heart, and just use, you know, mix and match your colors and just kind of run with it and have fun. You know, if there's ever a time where you actually do want to see 30 minutes of me doing this, please feel free to let me know, and I'll do a video from start to finish on, you know, something along these lines and not speed it up. But like I said, this video would have been like an hour and a half long if I didn't speed up this part. I didn't think any of us really needed that. I figured it's kind of long enough on its own. But again, you're just going to go through, mix your colors to, you know, what is making sense for you. The parts where you want more blue, add more blue. You want more purple, add more purple. That top really got crazy with the green. I really, really like the way that green, you know, kind of transitioned almost to a lime. I'm not really sure how it did that, but it did. And again, just make sure to keep spraying that alcohol. That's what keeps the alcohol inks all dreamy and cloudy. Okay, so started getting a little nervous that this was getting a little too dark, but just ran it by the powers that be with the executive decision, which hashtag is my husband, because this is his cup, and he is absolutely over the moon happy with it, and that's all that matters. I actually really do like it this dark, but considering I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for him. I had to go make sure that we were on the same page, because I'm not joking when I tell you I've started this cup 3 times for him, and 3 times he's been like, oh, well, that's not what I really wanted. Oh, I wanted something different. So yeah, he gets the final say on this because I'm not doing it a 4th time. Anyway, really happy how it came out. You know, it's hard when you're working with stuff this dark. I was kind of worried. I'm like, he's got a halo. Yeah, but he kind of needs one too, or else you're never going to see him. But yeah, really happy with how this is turning out. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to shoot this over for one more micro layer of epoxy. and then we're going to finish it up. And what, guys, when I'm telling you when I'm telling you guys to do micro layers, I really do mean that. If not, because there's so many layers to this cup, you're going to end up with a 43-pound cup. So when you're going through and doing these little, you know, epoxy layers in between, make sure you're doing them super, super thin, like as thin as you can. You know, so that way you're not bulking up. But like I said, we're going to go ahead and shoot this over. Put one more micro on there, and then we're going to go ahead and finish it out. My thought is to go ahead, we're going to add like some black textured mermaid scales to fill in some, you know, some of these little spots here, these empty spots. And my thought is to do, okay, well, my thought was to do one more little quick little bougie of, yeah, that's a real word, power wash. I'm almost afraid it might make it too dark, so we might play around with that part of it. But at the very least, it's going to get mermaid scales, and it'll be done. So on to the next step. What is up? Hi, I'm back. I'm sorry. I did not mean to leave you guys. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody who reached out in these past 6 months, you know, and like demanded proof of life from me. You know, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys taking time to do that, and just kind of like, you know, sending a message. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Where are you? You okay? I've been pretty much missing from Facebook, from obviously YouTube, from pretty much everywhere. So, so thank you. You know, all I'm going to say is that 2023 was freaking brutal. The last half of 2023 can just go itself. You know, emotionally, financially, physically, you know, I lost my dog. My dog died. I had a death in the family. You know, it's one of those things where you have the whole world on you and is depending on you to keep that world going. And and it all just starts piling up, and it's beyond your control. And it's just one thing after another, after another. And, you know, I'm really not a miserable person by any means. Like, oh, I can be a bitch. Let's be clear on that. But, you know, I'm one of those people that wakes up and it's like, okay, here's our list. This is what we have to do today. Here's our goals. Let's go ahead. Let's get some coffee, pet a dog. Let's go. Let's go. And, you know, when you've got so much just burying you, you know, you're not that person. And it's really hard to come and be like, hi, let's make something pretty. You know, it just weighs, you know, it just weighs on you. So the last 6 months, burnout, stress, all that. So that's kind of where I've been. But I am not a new year, new you person. I will always be the delightfully sarcastic, foul-mouthed person that I am. That will not change. So I'm not going to try to be that. But I am going to say, you know, 2023, bye-bye now. Now we're in 2024. You know, sometimes it's really easy to, you know, you're putting everybody else first. You're putting everything else first instead of yourself. And that you can only do that for so long before eventually you're like, you know what? We gotta like dig our way out and get ourselves back to, you know, who you are. And that's where we're at. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about all that. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who kind of like was, you know, hello, where are you? So we're here. We're back. We're awesome. We freaking finally did this cup. Seriously. Let's just take a moment to look. Where's my thing? There it is. Let's just look at all of this. How much do you love that green? I love that green. Okay, so this is it. Let's talk about this cup. This cup, I'm not even joking with you. I had to restart this 3 times. You know, it's one thing I always said in some of my other videos that this channel is number one to help people who, you know, there's a lot of, this is the right way to do things in this world when it comes to tumblers, and those aren't wrong. Like, you know, the right things are the right things, but there's also like little tips and tricks to get you through this process easier. Tumblers are not easy. They're not. And anyone who tells you that they are is just not pushing themselves enough, or they're not doing it right, or they're doing something better than me. I'm not even throwing shade on that. But you know, tumblers are not always easy, and it's amazing the little things that'll F up, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to start the whole cup all over again. And you don't always have to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, is to, you know, all the little tips and tricks I wish I knew when I started that aren't the mainstream tips and tricks, if you will. You know, that's why I'm here, to try to help with all that. And also to get my creativity on, because let's be honest, I do custom tumblers. I do tumblers that I've made 8,000 times before. You know what I mean? Like, my workload is either I've done this 1,000 times, or I've never done this, but it's for a customer and they're very specific in what they're looking for. And that's awesome. I love those. But I don't always get a minute to like get my own creativity going on things I want to do. And that's where this series and that's where this channel comes in. Now, this cup is for my husband, all right? This is what he, you know, he's like, that third cup, it's got to be mine. This is what I want. So I was starting a cup and I'd be like, hey, what do you think? And he's like, it's not really what I wanted. Whatever. So rinse and repeat. We went through that 3 times because, you know, I totally get it. Like, what do you want? What do you want on your cup? What do you want to look like? I don't know. Just not that. Okay, great, thanks. We finally got it. We nailed it. We're good. This was a lot of fun to make. Once I got my head into it, again, back to the first little, you know, my little dissertation at the beginning of this section, you know, you're really stressed and you're overwhelmed. You can't sit and think through a cup sometimes. And that's kind of where this was. My only suggestion is this. There's a couple, but when doing a cup similar to this, okay, this got dark real fast and I don't hate it. I love it. My husband loves it. My husband is a dark, moody, little broody guy, okay? So this is right up his alley. He did not want something that was like, you know, Mermaid. No, he wanted something dark and gnarly. So we did dark and gnarly. I was surprised at how dark it got. I wasn't expecting that. And that is because our base of glitter went, as you'll see, you know, in the video, you know, kind of like a mint down to like a dark purple, like a real dark purple. So this had a real dark gradient of glitter to begin with. And that's how we got all the dark going on here. If this is too dark, like if you're looking to do something maybe a little bit lighter, do a lighter gradient of glitter to begin with. Because what I just didn't even take into consideration, you know, this is one of those cups where it kind of got pieced together. Like, okay, here's the glitter we're going to use. Okay, here's the decals we're going to use. What are we going to do with it? Not 100% sure. Let's just run with it and we're going to go. So I knew that I was going to have to be using ink on this. I didn't take into consideration exactly like how dark the ink was going to be on top of the dark glitter. I personally love it. My husband loves it, which is all really that matters. But if you're looking to do a cup that's maybe not so dark, lighten up your glitter for that base. Okay. You know, this is very reminiscent, or I should say a lot of the same steps that we did in Mermaid 1, Mermaid 2. You know, the one thing that I wish I had done different is, you see where on, you know, spots I've got like the black power wash. I didn't put very much on there because my expectation was I'm going to do power wash, the black, like the base power wash, just a little tiny bit. I'm going to add the decals, add a little ink. I wanted so bad to add, I bought this very cool, like a blue-green color shift spray paint. And I wanted so bad to be adding power wash on here with that because I thought that would be really awesome. The only thing is, by the time I got to that step, it was going to be after like the actual ink was added. By the time I got to that, man, that would have been so dark. Like I would have lost a lot on there. And I just didn't want to do that because it would have completely covered, you know, anything light that was on here or any of the remaining glitter. Sorry. I just didn't want to take that chance. So that's the only thing that I would have done different, is add that color shift power wash at the same time or in replacement of that black. So live and learn. You'll also see in this video, I went through this like existential decision process on how to put these images on this cup, and I ended up doing what I always do anyway. So you can either fast forward through that part or you can watch it. When it comes to doing cups like this and putting decals on cups that have a darker background, that you don't want it to look just like here's a sticker on a cup, you know, it's very hard sometimes to work through that. And that's another thing I think that held me up on this cup, because I couldn't work through in my head how I wanted to add the actual images. You know, you've got water slides that are clear, water slides that have a white backer. You can take your clear water slide and spray paint the back white. You can take your clear water slide and put it on a white vinyl backer. You have printable vinyl. Is that all? Yeah, there's probably more. But those are the things that I'm used to working with. So it's, you know, you get different effects with different products. You know, some look more stickerish, some look more vibrant, but have a real strong white background. And you, with certain design elements, you can't cut that out where you're not going to see some kind of a sliver of white. So now you have like a sticker on a cup, and now you're trying to put ink and not go over the sticker, all that. So, you know, you're going to see, there's this section in this video, which you hopefully have already watched, where I work through all of that. And honestly, it's going to come down to personal preference. I did the same gosh darn thing that I always do. I used clear water slides, and that was the best for me for this cup. Somebody's calling me, go away. So, you know, work through what process you want. Like if you have a product that you love and you know, like there's people that sit there and do printable vinyl and it comes out just ridiculously amazing, and I don't know how they cut it perfectly on their machine. You know, sometimes that'll work for me and sometimes it won't. I was worried about these images because there's so many, you know, negative space and swirly swirls, and we've got crap coming down here and smoke over here and blah, blah, blah. And and then until I finally put it through a background remover and got most of that out, but just kind of like work through what you think is going to work. For me, this worked fine as far as the clear water slides. One thing that I would, again, probably have done different, and let me see where I can find, where's this little fish? These little fish. And they gave me a freaking, they were a pain in my ass. When you are doing, if you do follow the method on all of this, and you'll see where, you know, we went ahead and we added white spray paint, took off the excess so it wasn't like taking over the whole cup, and then did the white, I did the clear water slide on top, and then inked and all that. The only thing I would suggest as far as that kind of jammed me up, and I was kind of a little bit mad about it, was doing the white spray paint and then taking off the excess. Be careful of hard edges. If you can kind of feather out your edges a little bit, you're going to be happier. Because if you sit there and do what I did on this and be like, oh, here it is, we're going to take all this and we're going to leave this bit, you know, this very hard edge swatch of white and put a water slide down. You know, it's going to be harder with the ink to blend because you've got a hard edge on your white. That's my screw up. It happens. But what I would definitely suggest doing is trying to leave that as not hard edge as you possibly can. Now, I don't know if I included it in this video or not, or if I added it in there or not. One thing that I did, and you may see, you'll hopefully see it when the video where I was, or the part of the video where I was putting the water slides down. It is so freaking hot in this room. This little shark. All right, where am I at? This little shark guy. Okay, so I had his little white segment all, you know, there, and I put him down. And the little shark with his little fins and his little butt, you know, I didn't leave enough white. So he's got, like, you could see his body, but you couldn't see his fin because the fin was on dark and his body was on light. Grab yourself if you have especially a big, thick white paint pen, and I will link below what I grabbed out of my bin. When I had the white spray paint, I put the water slide down and I was like, oh, dirty word, that's not gonna work that way. I peeled up, because he wasn't affixed yet, he wasn't down there yet, I was still sliding him around. I peeled up his fin, grabbed my big thick white paint pen. Now you're doing water slides, so your base is still wet, is kind of wet, right? It's okay, because it's gonna kind of make it kind of dreamy, and you're not gonna get hard edges on your pen. But I peeled his, this is why you have coffee before you do a video. I peeled his fin up, took the big thick white paint pen and just kind of, and then took my finger and just kind of did this a little bit. And because the cup had, you know, was kind of a little bit wet in spots, it kind of took that white paint pen and just kind of made it all dreamy, kind of like it was there, but it wasn't there. So it took the rigid, you know, line of it and smoothed it and kind of clouded it out. And then I flipped his little, you know, fin back down and patted him even, and ta-da! So little things like that, you know, these things, sometimes, you know, they don't always go like you plan. You got to roll with it. The other thing that I do love about this, and I'm trying to see if you can actually tell or not. Another thing that I really love about this is the textured vinyl. Now, we all know that black is the Cadillac of all things when it comes to being under epoxy, because it hides freaking everything. God bless it. But in this case, I didn't maybe want everything to be hit. So black textured vinyl, it comes, I've got textured vinyl in black, gold, rose gold, silver. They probably make other colors, although I haven't seen them. But black textured vinyl, it just kind of gives you that extra little, ooh, what is that? It's not just flat. It's got a little ass to it. So black textured vinyl was the way to go to this. But to be perfectly honest, I've had that one roll, I don't know, 3 years. I think I've used 4 inches off the roll. So, you know, it's not like crazy expensive. It's maybe a little, oh gosh, what is it? 14 bucks a roll, somewhere in that. So it's more than what, you know, a normal roll would be. I never use it. It's just there. I had it because, you know, sometimes you just have to buy stuff. So if you don't want to make that investment, you don't have to. Just use black vinyl. You're cool. Even though my husband did piss me off the day I did the final coat, I did not put a sparkle coat on this. I was being a good wife. You can definitely add a sparkle coat at the end of this so that you know, everything sparkles. You know, that's normally how I finish my my cups anyway. But on this one, you'll see that, you know, the only thing that's sparkling is that background glitter and not the actual graphics. Like I said, he is a better wife than he thinks he does. That's pretty much it. You know, this was a lot of fun to make. I feel bad that this took me so long to get to you. But, you know, it's, like I said, it's very reminiscent of Mermaid 1, Mermaid 2. I really was trying to do something very different. So, I don't know. I feel like I was supposed to somehow do something magical and, you know, something totally out of the wheelhouse on this one. But I did want them all to kind of be, you know, to all be very similar. And, you know, adding the glitter on the background of this definitely, you know, definitely was something new. It's a lot of fun to make. You're going to have a blast. So definitely give it a try, or, you know, put your own spin on things. Reach out. If you have any questions or anything, reach out. I'm happy to help. I'm here. I promise I'm not going anywhere. So if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below, or, you know, hit me up. I'm on social media. I'm on, you know, you got my email, just whatever, reach out. I hope you liked this video. I hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, I now am an affiliate for KS Resin. You know how much I love KS Resin. It's the only epoxy I use. So if you are interested, or if you do use that, definitely check down below because I have a coupon code that you can use, and I think it saves you like 10%. So every little bit helps. Anyway, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be doing these. I have crazy ideas coming down the road. So, you know, definitely stick around, like and subscribe. You'll get notified of when they drop. Hopefully it'll be every Saturday, plus maybe a second one slid in there every now and again. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Enjoy the video. Have a great day.